Okay, so we are on lesson number 322 of a workbook of A Course in Miracles, and I'm really finding it hard to believe that, we're only a couple of months away from the end of 43 lessons or so away from the end of the workbook. When we started this, I didn't think I'd ever be able to fulfill the commitment. Not that I have fulfilled it yet, but I've enjoyed doing it. It has opened my mind every time, and that's the purpose of these lessons. As a matter of fact, I've often thought of myself as a crash test dummy for A Course in Miracles. Just throw me in, throw the book in, put the two of us together, and see if this really works. And it really does work. That's all I can tell you. It works if you work it. And when you know you work it because it works, that's actually the way Jesus teaches it, because his mind and heart are already turned around. And I mean, he's in the sense that he's gone through the great reversal of space and time. That's actually the way he teaches it, and it's easiest to understand it. You know that it's working when when the effects and experiences are being had by you. When the effects and the experiences, when the effects are not being experienced by you as experiences of direct communication and your mind opening up, of feeling forgiven, feeling whole, perfect, and innocent, losing fear, and beginning to understand the nature of who you were created as in God's reality. When those things begin to occur experientially, then you know that you're actually doing what is required. When you meet the requirements, it's really that simple. That's the divine logic and simplicity of A Course in Miracles, which escapes the ego every time, because the ego is so twisted and convoluted that it literally is constantly attempting to and proving to itself that it understands nothing. And that's, in a sense, the nature of today's lesson. I can't give up but was never real. Sacrifice illusion. I sacrifice illusions, nothing more. And since illusions are nothing, you sacrifice nothing. But this next line and these next couple, I think, are really, really important to understand. And I would really like to go on record as saying, when this is occurring to you, you know you are on your path and you are working with the principles at the integration that is necessary for you to remember who you are and fulfill your function. And says, I sacrifice illusions, nothing more. And as illusions go, as I utilize forgiveness to release myself from an illusion I have held myself and bound myself by, and shut my mind and heart to the light of who my reality, as they go, I find a gift that each illusion and the illusion, in a sense, has been trying to hide. And in one sense, I don't know how to express this. Okay, reality is whole, perfect, total, and real. Okay, when we're in the state of consciousness that we're in which we believe the illusion is reality, okay, it's as total to us as reality is to, as reality is whole and perfect, okay? But only one or the other is true. As we release our mind, we get these glimpses into that totality, okay? When we get a glimpse, okay, and as illusions go, I find the gifts illusions tried to hide, okay? And many of you who have had the experience of finding love and acceptance in a place where you previously had ostracized yourself and were experiencing hatred and rejection. Um, when you are lonely and you finally turn to that which is always with you, and you allow yourself to not maintain loneliness as a definition because you have identified as a body in space and time. When you allow your mind to change, to see that you've never been alone because you've always been with everything that loves you and everything you love. These are those things that as illusions go, we begin to discover awaiting me in shining welcome. I love that expression. And in readiness to give God's ancient messages to me. Messages that have been held for me throughout time, from before time, just waiting for me to release myself from the illusion. And as I do that, and this is a brilliant, I saw this in a vision that was given to me in as how the path works. And it was funny because when I got off the plane, when I got off the plane in LAX, it was the first time in a long time, not in LAX, when the plane that I took from Medford to San Francisco, and San Francisco is a huge airport, was so small that it actually landed on the tarmac, and we had the deplane on the tarmac, and they had an area for these size planes. And as I got off the ramp, there are guards, or I don't know what they call them, who direct you to the right lane. And the lane is formed by, these like concrete barriers, and they have these lights in them with motion detectors. Now, it was interesting because the lights aren't on, and I was the first one off the plane. And as you step forward, the light in front of you lights up. Not all the lights, but just the one in front of you. So every time you take a step, the next light lights up. Now, that's exactly the way I was shown this works when you're on the path and you're following along the way in which the gifts that illusions had been hiding from us works. As we step forward in the decision to no longer be an illusion to ourselves or have our brothers be an illusion to us, and to seek only the kingdom, as we step forward, the path is lit as we walk with the miracles that this is talking about. The gifts that the illusions previously hid await me in shining welcome, and all I have to do is walk in the way of gratitude, love. I walk in the way of gratitude. Love walks in the way of gratitude. There's an interesting scene in one of what was it? It was Harrison Ford. When he played Indiana Jones, and he was given the booklet, and he gets to, and the booklet has given him these keys, these riddles, and each riddle, as he gets to a spot, he figures out the riddle. The way is shown to him, and there's one where he's got to cross this seemingly uncrossable chasm, pit, I don't know. And he has no way across, and he stops, and he has no idea what to do. And he reads one of the lessons that were written for him in the book. And as he allows the lesson to be shown to him and come to an understanding, he throws sand, and there it is. There's a bridge that was hiding, that could not be seen until he stepped forth on the journey. So, and this is much like that. And in readiness to give, his memory abides in every gift that I received of him. This is what I'm trying to say. Each time we have one of these bright experiences, we get a blast or a burst of the recognition of who we are. And in that recognition lies the memory of God and the memory of who we are in the oneness of the kingdom as God created us. Okay? And then that flash lasts as long as it lasts, but it leaves us with an understanding, a gift, that as we utilize, we integrate until that next event of the recurrence of his memory comes to lead us once again forward. And every dream serves only to conceal the self which is God's only Son, the likeness of him, the Holy One who still abides in him forever, and he still abides in me. So that's what this is all about. And this is the way we can live from moment to moment when we recognize what it is our real purpose is, why we're on this journey, okay? The understanding that we're here is much like Arjuna, the soldiers of Arjuna. Arjuna is like sick and tired of being a householder, and he wants to get out. And Krishna says, Arjuna, you can't just jump straight into the absolute. You must go forth from where you stand. And Arjuna was on a battlefield. He had to fulfill his function as on the battlefield as a warrior and as a householder. We have responsibilities in this world. As above, so below, as within, so without. When we stop looking upon our responsibilities in this world as a detrimental and as blocks, and begin to look at them as opportunities to release ourselves from illusions and find in shining welcome the gifts that have been laid and set before us, waiting for us to be found as means of showing us that we are in fact on the path home, and we are gaining benefit from the occurrences that are happening to us in these experiences that are brought to us when we're willing to let Jesus be true about what he's saying and allow ourselves to be as he is, the living Son of God. Father, to you all sacrifice remains. Because if God is everything, what could possibly be sacrificed? And so I cannot sacrifice except in dreams. Yes, in a dream where you are something less than everything and can only look upon the devastation of the loss. Okay? Yet in the in our hopes and attempts to find what we have thought we lost in the world, in our attempt to find in the world what we thought we had lost, we deny ourselves the ability to find what could never be lost, because we always have been that, which is our reality in the kingdom. And that's why Jesus teaches first, seek ye first the kingdom. I can give up nothing you gave. Why? Because everything God gives is given eternally. Everything God gives is a thought. Remember, this is creation. This goes back to the lesson about creation. What is creation? God's thoughts are infinite and eternal. And you are that. And each thought he thinks as a gift to you is likewise infinite and eternal. And it only increases as it's given and received to give, which is all you can possibly do, because it's the natural action of your mind, which is what freedom is, which is why you're free, by the way. I can give up nothing, and what you did not give has no reality. Of course not. What loss can I anticipate except the loss of fear, the loss of fear, and the return of love into our minds.